Dear friends, welcome to another episode in the fantastic military world. In this video, we will talk about the Force of Unmanned Systems, the new branch of the Ukrainian Armed Forces dedicated exclusively to drone operations. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bell to not miss any news. On this Tuesday, February 6th, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky ordered the creation of a new branch of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, dedicated exclusively to aerial, terrestrial, and naval drones. In the decree he signed, President Zelensky asked the General Staff to handle the details for the creation of this branch exclusively for drones, emphasizing that the work should be done as quickly as possible but without specifying a date. In his usual nightly message, Zelensky said that drones are not weapons of the future, but of the present, and that the role they are playing today requires them to have their own command structure so they can extract their full potential on the battlefield. Although drones are attracting media attention in this war, these systems have existed and been operated for decades, with the first models dating back to the 1950s and 60s. However, it was only in the 1980s, with the advancement of electronics, that these systems truly began to stand out, as was the case with the Mohajer-1, an Iranian observation drone developed in 1985 and widely used in the war against Iraq in the 90s. With the improvement of secure satellite data links, large attack aerial platforms began to emerge, such as the MQ-1 Predator from 1995, with a length of over 26 feet, a wingspan of almost 49 feet, and capable of carrying two AGM-114 Hellfire missiles on missions of up to 24 hours. It served as the basis in 2007 for the MQ-9 Reaper, even larger, with 36 feet in length, a wingspan of 65 feet, and an impressive payload capacity of 37 to 47 pounds for up to 27 hours, equivalent to up to 8 Hellfire missiles, or a combination of 4 missiles and 2 laser-guided GBU paveway bombs. Gigantic reconnaissance and observation drones were also developed, such as the impressive RQ-4 Global Hawk, with a length of almost 49 feet, wingspan of 131 feet, and an endurance of over 34 hours, carrying nearly 4,000 pounds of optical and electronic observation and reconnaissance equipment. Other countries did not waste time, such as the Turks with Bayraktar, who developed large attack platforms like the Bayraktar TB2, an international bestseller that began to stand out in the hands of Azerbaijan in the war against Armenia in 2020, with a length of 21.33 feet, wingspan of 39 feet, and capable of carrying up to 4 high-precision missiles. The Bayraktar TB2 became an iconic figure among attack drones. Despite this wide variety of drones, this equipment was usually more used in special missions for the elimination of important targets. This began to change in 2020, in the Nagorno-Karabakh War, with Azerbaijan mass-deploying heavy drones like the Bayraktar TB2 and small kamikaze drones like the Israeli Harop, along with a wide range of observation drones that allowed the Azerbaijanis to monitor Armenian movements and correct artillery fire. That conflict was indeed the first where drones were effectively mass-deployed, with their role seen as decisive for Azerbaijan's rapid and decisive victory over Armenia. But where drones are really standing out in every way is in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Despite all the international aid received by Ukraine in almost 2 years of war, Russia remains the second largest military force in the world, mainly in terms of armored vehicles, with an estimated fleet of thousands of vehicles that, in the first weeks of the invasion, advanced against Ukraine from all its borders. From April 2022, after the Russians withdrew from northern Ukraine, dispelling the specter of an attempt to occupy Kiev, the Ukrainians, already properly armed with Western anti-tank missiles, began to look for cheaper alternatives to face Russian tanks, with this search leading them to drones, like the Turkish Bayraktar TB2. However, despite its undeniable operational capability, it is a relatively large drone and therefore more easily detectable and imperceptible by Russian air defenses. The Ukrainians then began to look for smaller and more radar-discrete drones, leading to the idea of adapting small domestic drones, which until then were used only for observation missions. Basically, the Ukrainians took a small observation drone and attached explosives, typically with an anti-tank RPG grenade. Thanks to high-resolution cameras, the operator is able to accurately target the weak points of the armored vehicles, such as the rear of the turret, often resulting in impressive explosions that include the ejection of the heavy turret, the result of a design feature of Soviet tanks, in which the ammunition is placed inside and below the turret. The Russians, obviously, did not lag behind, and started deploying their drones on the battlefield, resorting to help from Iran, which has been supplying large quantities of the Shahed 136, a high-range kamikaze drone capable of carrying an explosive load of up to 132 pounds. But unlike the Ukrainians, the Russians are not so committed to adapting commercial drones for attack missions, with Moscow preferring to opt for systems specific for military use. On the Ukrainian side, the use of drones has reached a level never seen in any other armed force, with thousands of young people using their vast experience with commercial drone operations and electronic games, now dedicating themselves to hunt down enemy tanks and soldiers invading their country, often destroying large 50-ton steel monsters with small drones weighing just a few kilograms. Drones are also excelling in the destruction of highly strategic economic targets, such as Russian gas and oil refineries and terminals. Much of the revenue that sustains Putin's invasion of Ukraine comes from gas and fuel exports, with Ukrainians using very long-range drones to target these installations, directly affecting Russia's war effort. In naval terms, Ukraine has also been standing out with drones, with successive attacks resulting in damage and the sinking of many ships from the powerful Russian Black Sea Fleet, such as a recent attack in February 2024, that resulted in the sinking of a missile corvette through the use of swarm-type drone attacks. All of this has proven the importance of drones in modern warfare, with the decree signed by President Zelensky ordering the creation of a specific branch for this equipment, demonstrating how vital they are for Ukraine's defensive effort. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe and activate the notification bell to not miss any news, criticisms, ideas, or suggestions. You can leave them in the comments.